Hello everybody! Found out some more stuff about G4 and I went like, oh god. Found out some stuff about some other people I've been wanting to know about. And that was something today. But not here that's not really what I'm here to talk about. Nah. You know how I did that video on on why is no one talking about this, the connection between Frontiers and PSO2? Now, for a while, I couldn't really figure out how to really go forward with it. But now, let me just say this. Forces and Frontiers might be connected, but in a very tertiary way. I'm thinking whatever the ancient civilization is, whether they're actually photoners or not, they're the ones who made the Phantom Ruby. Think about it. Think about how the Phantom Ruby works, and think about how Sage's powers work. It's so, in retrospect, it's kind of obvious, but I wasn't really thinking about that. But if and then I started to think about the Phantom Ruby. How did it actually get in Angel Island? I don't think it was always in Angel Island. And you're like, Bugsy, that's crazy talk. No, man, it ain't crazy talk. Think about it. There's only little information given about what the Phantom Ruby actually does. We know that makes real illusions. But when a person realizes that the illusion is fake, it stops. But think about how Sage's powers and how her hand glows and all this other stuff. Don't y'all tell me that don't seem a little bit familiar. You probably don't have the little vroom, the Phantom Ruby does. But don't you think it's a little bit weird? And I know we wouldn't know about the Phantom Ruby back then because it wasn't created. But humor me. That thing is known to go into other universes. And I'm saying maybe, just maybe, Infinite and Sage are connected, but not in the way that I think. Infinite got hooked into the Phantom Ruby. Eggman didn't even really know where it came from, what it actually did. He knows what it does, but he doesn't know where it came from. And I refuse to believe that it was just always there in Angel Island. Because it never added up that it was just there for the taking. You can't tell me that Knuckles did, after Knuckles done uppercutted Sonic and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that freaking Phantom Ruby, he didn't know about the Phantom Ruby. I mean, there's a lot of things that Knuckles didn't know, but you think he would know about that. It was a little off that where he hit Sonic, but you'd think he would have saw something like that. When the dude sees Master Emerald or Treasure, he's there. So you can't tell me. Okay, you can't honestly fucking tell me that the Phantom Ruby just kind of appeared because it did that with the it did that at the end of Sonic Mania. Basically, put the Chaos Emeralds, and when it reacted to it, it went to another universe, the modern universe. You're probably wondering, Bugsy, why do you think it just went to the modern universe? Because I think it was trying to go somewhere. Though I think the Photoners may actually be a part of Sonic's universe, because if y'all don't know, because some of you just know Sonic this and Sonic that, let me give you my evidence. Now this theory could probably go anywhere, and I'm not saying anything is definitive. I'm not MatPat. Okay, I ain't gonna sit here and go, "Oh, I'm totally right." Let me just give myself a big clap on the back because I'm MatPat. No. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I'm not saying anything is definitive, but the way everything is looking, the way everything is looking, and the way things were worded about Sage in that interview is starting to get my brain. It's starting to get my mind working. And even if it isn't, you know I'm probably gonna write about it because I'm starting to think, and I'm not really going to tell you guys a lot about, I'm going to tell you a little bit about PSO2 lore, but I'm just saying, I'm putting a link down in the description so y'all can actually look at those videos. You know, because honestly, I'm giving you the tools to figure this out yourself, to come to your own conclusion. But oh my god, I mean, I'm not even gonna put up my condo right now. That's how fucking serious this got. Phantasy Star Online, Sonic the Hedgehog. Guys, I gotta show you this, and I was gonna like do it in my condo, but I'm like, no, we going to the source. I don't got time to be fiddling around with URLs right now. Look who it is! This may not be canon, but maybe it's a weird way to tie that particular piece of Phantasy Star lore with Sonic, because Sonic and Phantasy Star has always kind of, like, at least PSO Online, have always been kind of intermingled. You know, they've always been kind of intertangled, at least for this part. Now who's to say, because this is before PSO2, and then we found out about the photoners and all the other stuff. Who's to say that some of the photoners during the whole business in PSO2 didn't break off, found the Starfall Islands, and made a whole, and started making technology there? I would tie this all to Luther, but there's nothing really tying Luther to any of this. Because honestly, I don't think it has anything to do with him for real. But I do think it has something to do with the photoners. And the fact that Sage not only has the same color scheme as, Infinite, but the fact that she and some of the enemies look like photoner shit. And now you're probably wondering, Bugsy, you're going a little too far. You're going a little too fast. No. We're about to go see some shit. Hold up. We're about to see some shit. I hope you guys are ready. Just hold on to your pants. Hold on your fucking pants. I'm about to blow your fucking minds. And maybe none of this, maybe this is just me going out on a tangent and just piecing things together that don't make sense. That's always going to be a possibility. But I just feel like it's too, like, it feels like they're trying to connect this with PSO2. Because think about it. You're like, well, Bugsy, wait a minute, PSO2. For those of my audience that only look at me when I do Sonic, let me explain something. PSO2 is another one of their franchises that they're working with, because they're doing Because we got New Genesis. Now, New Genesis. Well, New Genesis ain't doing. Well, from what I heard, New Genesis wasn't doing that well for the last time because we're still waiting on content. But PSO2 was not only successful in Japan, but really successful over here. So, what I'm trying to propose to all of you is that they're tying them together because outside of this and Yakuza, outside of Sonic and Yakuza, Phantasy Star 2, PSO2 has been kind of been successful. So it only makes sense for those two to connect. Turning off my business brain for a moment. Now, I want you to look PSO2 Photoner enemies. I want you guys to kind of look at this, okay? I want you guys to look at this. Like, honestly, look at these photoner things. Look at them. Tell me they don't look a little bit similar. Honestly, look me in the eye and tell me that these don't look a little bit similar to the enemies. Maybe a little bit more back in the past of what these things could, of what the things that Sonic are fighting looking like. Because those things were primitive. These are more modern, in a sense. Think about it. And basically, what I am trying to tell you guys, I've been trying to tell you guys this all throughout every freaking trailer I've done. I've been busy, so I haven't really been trying to talk about it. But the thing is, I just had, like, before going to get myself something to eat, I basically had an epiphany. I literally believe, honest to God believe, that somehow PSO2 is connected to Frontiers. And also Forces is connected to Frontiers. Whether you think that's a good thing or not, that's up to you. Yeah, you can be mad about that if you want. But I'm just saying. And for the PSO fans in the audience, hopefully you guys are here. So, because I'm about to go on a big ass tirade here. So help the other Sonic fans that don't know what I'm talking about to follow along a little bit. Okay. From what we know, let me go grab. Because we're gonna be using a certain person's videos as as visual aid. So give me a moment.
Hello everyone, and
no, we don't need. We need not Dark Falls. Although, I don't think Dark Falls is a thing in the Sonic universe. I think this has more to do with photons, but let me go see if I can go find that. Hold on. But what we do need. Glutathione, no. Photons, no. There we go. There we go. Now, guys. This is a lot of stuff, and I know that some of you are not even paying attention. Some of you have already turned off, because the moment I stop saying Sonic, that's when you guys bounce. But for those of you that are staying with me, I appreciate it.
The very one responsible not just for sending us off on this crazy impression that there's more to this lady.
Nah.
Control message broadcast to every ARC's operative to seek and destroy the threat to the Oracle mothership. But this time, we're the traitor. We're the threat. The entirety of ARC's is...
Look a little familiar? Demise.
brought to bear against us. But Kuna would blow the lid on Luther's schemes and break the order. Now that Luther has made his move, Xion would finally reveal the truth, more of a librarian of sorts. She would inevitable downfall. In the beginning, there was a planet made entirely of water. This planet would birth an intelligence powerful enough to calculate everything in the entire universe. The very incarnation of knowledge itself. A little thing called the Akashic Records. Well, not quite. Xion was actually more of a librarian of sorts. She was one of the only entities capable of accessing and managing the records. But that subject is a pretty deep rabbit hole, so we'll save that for another time. So one day this world was visited by those who had come to be known as the Photoners, and they'd give it the name Xion. Xion abandoned the role of being a mere observer, and blessed them with the knowledge of using photons as energy. Xion wasn't alone anymore, and this made her very happy. Xion would assume the form of the first person to come in contact with her. At Xion's request, the Photoners built an outer shell around the planet as part of their mothership. She wanted to be there to see all that they would achieve. So you could say this was a mutually beneficial
And you're probably wondering, Bugsy, what does this have to do with Sonic? Listen.
relationship. The Photoners' sphere of influence would span the entire universe, and they'd eventually try their hand at cloning. So they'd eventually try to clone Xion, and, well, we all know how that turned out. Xion's lamentation of her hand...
But that wasn't the only clone of Xion. There was another. And who even knows? Sage could actually be another duplicate of Xion. It could be possible. Because think about it, she's more of like an entity, kind of like how Xion is when she meets you, and kind of like how a certain group of, well, I could say edifice loving motherfuckers, but y'all would get it. But because of that certain group, that was another clone of Xion, almost like Zhao. But we ain't gonna talk about Zhao. But probably that has something to do with it too. But I haven't really had enough time to really think about that and see how that fits in. Again, this could just be a crackpot theory of mine, but I'm really believing that this could be it. And what else has black and red, folks? That's right, Dark Falls. See, you guys are really smart. You're getting it. Okay.
These events, and her desire to make things right, served as the impetus for enlisting our aid. But Luther awaited us at the core of the mothership.
Again, I want to say that this is kind of Luther's doing. Kind of the last fuck you to a different universe to be like, ah ha ha ha. But this doesn't seem like his MO. I believe, because we don't know this, but I think some Photoners actually split off in other universes, creating, landing in the Star Falls Islands, and probably that's why we have that. Now, this can all be disproven when the game comes out. I'm not saying this is all 100%, but it's just weird how this kind of connects in a very weird and roundabout way. You know what I'm saying?
This is where he'd step in and take the reins.
And when Xion died, Xiao took over. Which, I was, when I played the game, I was torn. I was actually literally torn. But, there was another version, of Xion. And that's why when I looked at Sage for the first time, things looked very, for lack of a better word right now, familiar. Very, very familiar. And maybe it's just a little bit of myself trying to probably. Okay, let me pause for a minute. There's some noise, so I'll finish up in a minute. Give me a minute, folks. 1 minute. Okay. Back to it. So, what I'm trying to put out is like, see, I feel like Sonic. See, what Eggman stumbled onto was what the Photoners used to be at, or at least a splinter of the Photoners. Because I'm like, you can't tell me that none of these Photoners may have split off at some point, others wanting to explore the vast expanses of other universes, while the rest stayed over at their home dimension. Knowing that maybe Sage is another attempt at Xion. And that AI voice. Oh, that AI voice. Now, I don't even know if this is even true. Again, this whole theory is shaky. I'm just putting that out there. I'm making sure everybody knows, because some people click off of this video and probably think what I'm saying is fact. None of this is set in stone, but I'm pretty, like about 50% sure. 50 at least. That maybe either this is another, like, the thing that was talking to Sonic was either another version of Xion or something completely different that the Phantasy was working on. Again, some of them are really obsessed with like cloning Xion, to the fact where 2 clones did in fact exist other than Dark Falls. Well, Xion Zhao took over after that. But then we got the Oedipus-loving motherfuckers that had their own version of Xion that they called Mother. And one of them was voiced by freaking Neptune's current voice actress. Now, I'm just throwing that in there. That was like really, really surprising to me. I was like, Nep, is that you?
Brand new mothership from another timeline. There's more to Xiao than just being Xion's younger brother. He's actually another Xion, created by Xion. So perhaps the term son is more appropriate. Xiao has the same omniscience and space-time bending powers as Xion, but his calculation ability isn't quite on par with hers. He's not dialed into the Akashic records like Xion was. He would use this power to send us back to the point of Elder's awakening to save Zeno, and send us back 10 years to investigate Matoi's origins. Personality-wise, Xion and Xiao are definitely polar opposites. Xion is the more reserved type, and Xiao is the more boisterous, outspoken type. The majority of his social skills were picked up from hanging out with Sarah, effectively making her like a sister to him. Just like siblings.
Yeah, I don't see Sarah and Zhao's brother and sister. Oh, I really believe it's more than that. But we're not here to talk. This isn't the Shipping Busters episode, so we're gonna ignore that.
Darkness and Persona were sealed away in a time loop, but this was a band-aid fix. Once the new administrative backbone was set up, Xiao went back to the mothership.
What if the Starfall Islands? Okay. What if the Starfall Islands? Now that I'm thinking about this, and this is probably gonna be, I'm just probably gonna call this Bugsy's crackpot theories. Now I'll probably call it something else. Bugsy's sorta theories or something. What I've noticed. Aww. Hey. My darling Annie, sent me a text. Hold up. Okay. What if the Starfall Islands is a way of trying to combat? Also, I've been seeing some of the plot summaries for the initial stuff saying that the Starfall Islands came through a wormhole. So I'm thinking to myself, could the Starfall Islands be a place? Like, could the subspace levels be a mini Akashic records, but only tell it to the person that lands there? Ergo, Sonic, where it has knowledge of everything, but in Frontiers, right? It only has knowledge of the person who landed there. Why not Amy or Tails or Knuckles? I don't know. I don't really know. This theory of mine is only predicated on the fact that I think that the Starfall Islands was originally made to combat Dark Falls if it ever decided to go to another universe. Like if it ever say Arx loses. Say that Arx loses, right? Say that they lose. Okay? Like, stay with me here on this. Say that they lose. And then Dark Falls is pretty much ruling the galaxy. But then it gets bored. It gets bored and goes to another universe and does the whole thing over again. Now, you can't tell me that none of this, if you are a PSO fan, that some of this is kind of making a little sense. Some of this is making a little bit of sense. Again, I wouldn't even call this a spoiler because this is just my theory. This is not something that's set in stone. I'm not saying, oh, we've solved Frontiers like MatPat did. No. Like MatPat would say with finance phrase. This is just me making a few observations, and possibly this could be the right thing. Also, I'm gonna leave both videos. I'm going to leave the video of this and probably you guys should look at the Akashic records and meet the Mother Core to really understand where I'm coming with this. Because honestly, if I had more time right now, I would tell you there's so much more that I think is really going here. And maybe we're gonna get an actual canon. We're gonna get an actual in canon version of Sonic being in PSO, being in the PSO universe. And in a way, let me turn my business brain back on, it would kind of benefit both Sonic and PSO fans. Because both sides are getting something interesting. Both sides are being acknowledged in both series. Thereby strengthening them up and probably getting more people to play New Genesis. That's what I think is the real end game here. But plot-wise, if this is true, the Sonic franchise is about to go into. They're about to go into fucking space. We about to have our own Metarex arc, and gonna be about the Metarex. And if it's New Genesis, and if Sonic goes like where New Genesis takes place, Sonic versus Dark Falls. Think about that shit. Like, think about that. Don't tell me that don't sound cool. And they'll be like, Bugsy, this is way far off for Sonic. Listen, okay, I know that you don't want this because there's a lot of stuff to know and a lot of stuff to remember and keep into your head because this seems convoluted. I get you. I understand. But I am telling you, folks, this is either, like, again, this is not really set in stone, but don't you think it's a little weird? Don't you think it's a little weird that, like I said before, don't you think it's a little weird that Sage, if you look at my other video, that Sage kind of looks like Shiva? The vessel for Dark Falls? Like, not like in a kind of not design philosophy, but in certain ways. Like it just, this whole plotline seems familiar, yet different enough. But I just feel like Shiva and Xion and fucking Xiao are kind of connected in this, and possibly even Mother as well. Probably. Again, this can mean nothing. This can mean something. But I feel like I'm on something. I feel like I'm on the right track, or at least if it doesn't go this way, I'm probably just gonna write my own version anyway. Just saying. Because if Sega ain't gonna use it, I'm gonna use it. But let's look at Sage for a minute, shall we? But I'm also thinking that maybe Sage is the product of trying to make Dark Falls, but try to make it a little bit more manageable. Like, quite literally on the side. On the side of the photons. To kind of correct Luthor's mistake. Dudes, this can mean a lot of things. This can mean nothing. But I gotta look at Sage for a minute. Just real quick. Real quick, like. I just feel like it's like some mixed. I feel like she's some mixture of Dark Falls and what Xion would be if, like, Xion fused with Dark Falls. And again, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm just saying, there really has to be some kind of connection here. Because the Titans even look like Photon or Tech. Hold up. Sorry, had to go text. Had to go text my beloved. Anyways. So, maybe, again, we're gonna look at Sage for a minute. We're gonna look at some videos of Sage for a minute. I just need it just feels like she's part, Photon Tech and a little bit of Dark Falls in there. Would that mean that Infinite's connected to Dark Falls? Not really, but I do think the Photoners, or whoever is this ancient race, they're the ones that made the Phantom Ruby. They're the ones that somehow it got into the classic universe and then back here. Because maybe it was trying to go back to the Starfall Islands. But it only could go to a certain distance, and that's how Eggman was able to grab it and use its power and give it to Infinite. Or maybe that was a prototype. I don't know, but the one that Infinite got. But I think that was the actual one. And I think the Phantom Ruby, after Infinite got defeated, I think that is probably where it went. Again, I could be wrong. There's like I said, a high possibility that I could be wrong. I'll tell you that right now. But that's an actual theory. That's a theory. A Bugsy God tier theory. Thanks for watching. No, I'm gonna just call it Bugsy theories or something. I don't know. I don't want to call it God tier theories because none of you would get the Homestuck reference. So we're just gonna call it Bugsy theories or something. But I'm just saying, some of this makes a little bit of sense. Again, even if the Photoners are not literally in this game, I still believe the ancient race that is a part of the Starfall Islands, or was a part of the Starfall Islands, they're the ones that created the Phantom Ruby. And if anybody knows anything about the Phantom Ruby, they would. And the fact that Sage is somewhat connected to Infinite is what brought me down this rabbit hole. And then my own deductions of how the Photoner monster things from PSO2 kind of look like the primitive things that we're going to be fighting in Frontiers. It's like no matter how hard you look at it, they're somewhat connected. At least the Infinite and Sage stuff is connected. The other stuff I said possibly could be, but who knows? This video, I'm probably gonna feel outdated if everything hasn't come to pass. And I'll even make a follow-up video saying I was way off. Because unlike Mad Pat, I can admit when a theory doesn't work. I ain't gonna lose sleep over that. But in a way, if it doesn't get used, it's just gonna be another Sonic Freedom Fighters tie-in that I'm gonna use. That I'm gonna do, so it don't matter. Yeah, I don't want to write the actual series, but I'm writing tie-ins. Tell me how that makes any sense.
You watching the Big 3 Bucks Network. Yeah. Okay.